Funding for Schaff Shorties is provided by
Squarespace, the sponsor of today's video. Hey gang, I thought it might be fun to put out a short ranking video to tide you over while I endure more Adam Sandler garbage for this godforsaken, miserable, never-ending ranking. And then I realized I never talked about the iconic Pixar shorts that many of us remember as fondly as the movies themselves. Well, here you go. Every standalone Pixar short ranked. What do I mean by that? Well, as usual, I checked Wikipedia to see what exactly counted for the purposes of this list. The list of Pixar shorts article obviously has a table for the original short films, the ones that play before their animated movies in theaters that aren't tied to a pre-existing IP. I also wanted to include the feature-related shorts, the ones based on the movies that you can usually find in the special feature section of that movie's DVD. You know, back when DVDs were a thing. The short section of the Wikipedia article also includes the Spark shorts, which are basically the spiritual successor to the original theatrical short films. These are part of a program where Pixar employees are given 6 months and limited budgets to create short films, and I think they absolutely deserve to be covered here. The last thing listed under here is Pixar Popcorn, which... oh yeah, I have some words about these, so sure, I'll include them. After that, however, the article categorizes everything else under short series. These include the Cars tunes that consist of the 11 Mater's Tall Tales shorts that all have the same "Don't you remember? You was there too" structure. The 10 Forky Asks a Question shorts. The 6 Doug Days shorts. The 9 Cars on the Road shorts. Oh my god, there's more cars? And the 3 Toy Story tunes. Since all of these are officially referred to as short series, I feel like adding all of them would be excessive and bloat the video too much, since, let's be honest, there is not much to talk about in the What is a Computer Forky episode versus the What is Cheese Forky episode. I thought about making an exception for the Toy Story tunes since they did premiere in theaters, on top of the Carl's Date episode of Doug Days that was shown before Elemental in theaters. But I ultimately decided that was pretty unfair since they are still meant to be part of a mini-series. We're only looking at the standalones today to keep things simple, so don't ask me where Time Travel Mater is. I'm not including that because it's a part of the Mater's Tall Tales series, but I am including Mater and the Ghost Light because that was designed as a standalone short. Don't say I missed anything. Read the Wikipedia article and weep. Maybe I'll go back and cover the rest of these if you really want me to, but I just don't know how much there is to say about them. And before you say that Spark Shorts and Pixar Popcorn are also a series, nuh-uh. They're not all tied together by a single film universe. They're just a bunch of unrelated shorts brought together under the same banner. Anyway, with all that said, we've got a nice even 60 shorts to look at today. So why don't we see what the worst of the worst is?
Disappointment in the game of life. Disappointment in the game of life. Disappointment in the game of life. In the game of life. In the game of life. In the game of life.
For the first time in Schaff Shorties ranking history,
Yes!
we have a 10-way tie for last place.
You shitting me?
Oh my god, Pixar Popcorn is awful. It's a series of 10 shorts Pixar put out on Disney Plus based on their movies. And a lot of people were interested when they were first announced, since we all love those movie tie-in shorts we grew up with. Yeah, these are not that at all. They're a bunch of disposable, cheap-feeling pieces of streaming slop that almost all consist of the same notable issue. Nobody talks in these. It's extremely awkward and just reeks of not having the budget to pay the voice actors to come back. It really makes you ask, why did they even make these? The only ones with any dialogue are the Toy Story 4 ones based on Ducky and Bunny, and I feel like these were probably just outtakes Key and Peele recorded for the movie that Pixar had lying around. The rest of these are just so awkward. Like, you keep waiting for the characters to talk, and they just never do. Maybe I'm being too harsh on these shorts, but I don't know. I just didn't feel any passion in them that even the worst non-Pixar Popcorn short in this list had a bit of. Time for a mini ranking, I guess. The worst of these is probably Soul of the City. Like, it's just nothing. Here is a minute and a half of the character models from Soul we had lying around, doing stuff in their day-to-day life. At least we get to see Joe's dad. I don't think he was in the movie. He looks exactly like Joe, but older. This sucks, moving on. Next is Dancing with the Cars. The Cars characters dance and don't say anything for 2 minutes. That's it. You understand why these are at the bottom, right? Next is To Fitness and Beyond. Buzz Lightyear does the fitness class and nobody is good at it, but then they get good at it and they do a freeze frame. Oh my god, I hate this so much. Next is A Day in the Life of the Dead. It's the same shit as the Soul one, just a handful of characters vibing with no story, except at least they do fun visuals with the dead people using their detachable body parts for various shenanigans. Up next, Dory Finding. Great title. Dory finds a bunch of random shit, a bunch of fish swim by her, and then it just ends. Honestly, this one should probably rank lower. The order really does not matter, you guys. Whatever. Next is Fluffy Stuff with Ducky and Bunny Love. Key and Peele have a 1-minute conversation that mostly just consists of saying the same word over and over. It has more substance than half of these. Unparalleled Parking. The cars in Cars try to parallel park. I only ranked it this high because Chick Hicks is here. Cookie Num Num. The Incredibles fight over a cookie. It's not as bad as the other ones. My brain is going num num from all this garbage. Fluffy Stuff with Ducky and Bunny 3 heads. Ducky and Bunny say mildly amusing things about how freaky the 3-headed sheep is. And the least bad one, which is still really bad, is Chore Day, The Incredibles Way. They do creative stuff with the Incredibles' powers and showing how it works for doing chores. This might have actually ranked a little higher if they talked and they put effort into it and it wasn't just 2 minutes long. I don't like Pixar popcorn. All of these are pretty abysmal, and the best parts were the different popcorn-related shenanigans the lamp got up to during the Pixar logo segments. I also want to make it clear that I'm not against wordless storytelling, but there's a clear difference between wordless storytelling that feels artistic, which we'll see in a lot of the later shorts in this ranking, and wordless storytelling that feels like they had to shit something out without shelling out for the voice actors to return. Go ahead, try and defend Pixar popcorn. I dare you. Now on to the real ranking. Miss Fritter's Racing School sucks. I promise this low ranking has nothing to do with my disdain for the Cars franchise. I actually ranked Mater and the Ghostlight decently high, since that short had a plot. This one does not have a plot. It's just a long-ass commercial for the annoying school bus character's driving school. I liked when the one car said a doctor told him he had high oil pressure. I liked when the van didn't really know his lines. I think that's about it, actually. Bad. Tell a story or something. God damn. They didn't even put this on Disney Plus. Now that's embarrassing.
I'm Katie Current, keeping it current.
Marine Life Interviews is such a boring short that they also forgot to put it on Disney Plus. It's just 2 minutes of the characters from Finding Dory getting interviewed about Dory. They didn't really say anything funny. I forgot everything about the short as soon as it was over. That's it, moving on.
Where's the bee?
There's a bee.
The Adventures of Andre and Wally B was the first ever Pixar short made in literally 1984. It was technically made before the founding of Pixar, similar to how Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind is considered a Ghibli movie despite existing before Ghibli. It's the same people who would go on to be a part of Pixar, except the credits say it's by the Lucasfilm Computer Graphics Project. All of this information is more interesting than the actual short, which is just 2 minutes of a guy encountering a bee, then running from the bee, then getting stung off screen, then he throws something at the bee, and then it's over. It's more of a tech demo than a fully featured short. Absolutely revolutionary and historically significant, but there really is no justification for ranking it any higher than this.
Raise the reef, buddy.
Okay, this is odd. For some reason, I never heard of Exploring the Reef with Jean-Michel Cousteau, even though it was apparently right there on the Finding Nemo DVD that I definitely scoured a ton as a kid. I don't know if it's my lack of nostalgia for this short since I'm only seeing it for the first time now, but man, is it kind of annoying. The premise is this guy is trying to do a documentary on marine life, but Dory, Marlin, and Nemo are always interrupting him with wacky anecdotes. I don't know, it kind of feels like the 2003 equivalent of brain rot content. It feels like the educational content of the short is just getting in the way of the goofy hijinks the filmmakers actually want to get up to with the animated characters. A sharp contrast to an educational short we'll see later on that actually makes the educational content fun. This one just annoyed me more than anything. I don't think I really missed out on anything by not knowing about it as a kid.
he saw that his entire body was made out of yarn.
Yeah, I don't know about Pearl, you guys. This is a short about women having to deal with male-dominated workspaces where all the women are represented by cutesy, tiny balls of yarn. Like, is that not super infantilizing? And since this is a short for kids, the women are just kind of not invited to hang out with the cool dudes, instead of being sexually harassed, which is a much more significant problem for women in the workplace. I'm not saying I wanted the yarn balls to be sexually harassed in this. I'm just saying, maybe don't make a short about male-dominated workspaces for kids. It comes across as soft and weightless and inauthentic. Even putting that aside, the commentary and message here is just so obvious. I genuinely don't really know who this was for. The animation on the yarn balls is pretty cool at least, and it doesn't have bad intentions or a bad message. I just think it unintentionally ended up being a bit regressive.
A baby? A monster?
Okay, this shit gave me childhood trauma. I would not show Tin Toy to a kid under any circumstances because the baby in this is the most horrific creature Pixar has ever created. Look at this fucking abomination. Look at the way it moves. Look at its face. Oh my god. Alright, if this short was necessary practice for Pixar to get better at animating humans, then fine. It's honestly cute to see a precursor to Toy Story where toys are afraid of a child ripping them apart. Like, not only did this obviously inspire Sid in the first film, I wouldn't be surprised if this inspired the daycare concept in Toy Story 3. It's definitely historic for Pixar and CGI in general. But damn it, that doesn't mean I have to like it. What even really happens? This horrific monster starts crying and then the Tin Toy feels bad, so it tries to cheer him up. And then it gets played with super roughly, which is the exact thing it was trying to avoid the whole time. Then the resolution is the baby gets stuck in a box and Tin Toy is safe. Huh? Where are this baby's parents anyway? This is highly irresponsible parenting, and it's also just not that great of a short. I'm sorry. I promise, even if the baby wasn't a freak of nature, I still wouldn't care for this one. It's pretty cute how they gave Tin Toy a cameo in Toy Story 4 though.
No money means no animation.
George and AJ is an odd short. I think it's a funny idea conceptually to have Carl incite a revolution and get a bunch of other old people to launch their houses up and away. But like, why is the animation so bad? The 2D style is nice, but then you realize nobody is like moving? I thought you said this was animated. Why is nobody moving? Not even their lips. It feels like the storyboard for a deleted scene that they just turned into a short, complete with temp voices on Carl and Russell that are really distracting. The titular George and AJ don't even really do anything. I feel like the comedic ways these elders escape in their houses are funny enough that this could have been pretty good if it was properly animated. But instead it's just kind of uncomfortable. I don't know how else to put it.
Coming soon to theaters.
You ever just forget Coco had a dog in it? Dante's Lunch is a fine Coco-themed piece of slapstick. Dante finds a moving bone. You immediately realize that the bone belongs to a skeleton and you're just waiting for the big reveal. Or maybe not, because this short ends with Coco coming soon. So is this meant to be an advertisement for the movie before it came out? I don't know, man. It's watchable, but pretty disposable.
Let's get out of here.
Smash and Grab is about gay robots making an escape from their boring-ass job and starting a new life together. That's nice and all, but I don't think the visual language of the film is really strong enough to convey the story, quite like the dialogue-free Pixar shorts of old. I didn't really get that attached to these robots, and I feel like they needed more time to really flesh out both them and this world. It's okay, I suppose, but definitely not that special. Okay, I can't believe I'm saying this, but there's kinda too much going on in Partly Cloudy. They establish the lore about the storks delivering babies, okay, sure. Then they show off how the clouds are the ones who actually make the babies for the storks to deliver. Alright, everything's flowing so far. And then we have this one stormy cloud who makes all the more vicious babies, like little baby rams and crocodiles and stuff. Hell, I bet it was him who made the demon baby from Tin Toy! So the idea is that the stork who delivers his babies constantly gets hurt from these deliveries. We spend a lot of time establishing that. So then when he finally does something about it, there's only like a minute left in the short. The cloud gets angry, then sad, then it turns out this was all a misunderstanding because the stork just left to get football gear to protect himself. which doesn't even work against this electric eel. I don't know, there's definitely a good concept here, but I feel like it could have been fleshed out a little bit better with the conflict part of the short being expanded upon. I don't know if 5 minutes was enough time to get all this across. Maybe just 1 or 2 extra minutes could have helped it out a little bit better. It's not bad, don't get me wrong, it's just not a favorite of mine. Have you ever wondered what Bo Peep's life was like between Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 4? No? Well, here it is anyway. She went to a bunch of places and then she ended up in the antique store and then she escaped the antique store and it's kind of rushed apart from her time with the first kid, which is just kind of okay. That's how I feel about the entire short, in fact. It's just kind of okay. Nothing essential, just here's a bunch of places Bo Peep went. The end. Fine, but whatever. Moving on.
Buzz, look, an alien! Where?
Lifted is pretty okay. It's a decently creative concept about a sort of alien abduction driver's test, which this goofy little alien dude consistently fails at. It's mildly amusing, but there isn't a whole lot to it. The humor and character designs kind of remind me of Sony animation, you know, before they became really good. It just doesn't scream Pixar to me like a lot of their other short films from this era do. And it really doesn't help that they paired it with the most artistically rich Pixar film to date, Ratatouille. It's not bad, but I wouldn't really call it one of my favorites. I like the big squishy alien and how he uses the UFO light to completely fix the room up, at least.
Hey, little bird.
For some reason, I thought Piper was the nature short that tackled generational trauma. But no, I was thinking of a Disney animation short, Far From the Tree, which premiered before Encanto. Piper is about a bird who's nervous to find food on its own, and then it goes underwater with a bunch of hermit crabs, and it sees a bunch of food, and it tells the other birds about the food. Honestly, this one's really forgettable to me. I like the way the birds are animated. It's a nice mix of realistic and cartoony. There's also amazing looking water and sand in this short, but I just didn't get that much out of this one other than cute bird antics. Apparently a lot of people really love this one, and it even earned Pixar the Oscar for Best Animated Short Film for the first time in 15 years. But I just don't think it's that great outside of the impressive animation.
But Doctor, I am Sad Dog.
Doug's Special Mission is a fine but pretty forgettable little up short. It doesn't really give you anything you couldn't already get from the movie. Just here's Doug comedically f***ing things up for Alpha, Gamma, and Beta Cuck. Oh boy, wacky slapstick, yippee! It's not bad, but it feels pretty disposable and uncreative compared to a lot of these other shorts. There's an attempt at an emotional core since it turned out the day he met Carl was his birthday. Aw, how sweet. He just didn't mention that in the movie. I guess he forgot to bring it up, despite being a very talkative character, and this being something he's clearly excited about. Whatever, I don't really care that much. Fine short, nothing more to say really.
bad.
The Legend of Mordu is kind of like George and AJ in the sense that, why isn't this animated? I mean, it's a passable way to present a folklore legend, but man, this would have been cooler if it had a really distinct art style and the characters actually move. Hearing the backstory of the main villain, who we only knew as a mindless evil bear, is decently interesting. And this is definitely a much better experience than Brave itself. It kind of feels like this is the tone the entire movie should have had. Huh, imagine that. Overall though, the pretty simplistic animation holds it back from being anything other than okay.
The baby.
Auntie Edna is to Jack Jack Attack what Incredibles 2 is to Incredibles 1. A painfully average follow-up. Don't get me wrong, it's cool to see even more Jack Jack powers that weren't in the movie. But without Edna reacting in bombastic ways like Kari did, it's just not as funny or engaging. See, in the movie, when Bob picks up Jack Jack from Edna's place, the implication is that she found a way to tame this unruly baby off screen, which is decently funny. But then, did she? According to this short, all she did was hide while he had a fiery temper tantrum. Then she made a suit for him. Then I guess he was chill? I don't know. It was funnier when I didn't know what happened. The short is still pretty okay, but not all that special overall.
Have you ever had a dream that you
Red's Dream is an uncharacteristically melancholy short for Pixar, following a unicycle who dreams about performing in the circus, until the dream ends and he realizes, oh, I'll never get to do that, and he just slumps in the corner as the short concludes. Damn, okay. This one is notable for having the first humanoid character Pixar would ever make in the form of this clown, which was definitely an ambitious prospect for 1987. I like how he looks like a deformed N64 Zelda NPC. I like how Volcano's head is not attached to his body. I'm not even being sarcastic when I say this. It's just really cool to see what they could accomplish, despite there being obvious limitations from the technology at the time. Overall though, this one's just kind of okay. Doesn't really have a whole lot to say other than, damn, this unicycle's life fucking sucks.
It's called the loop-de-loop.
Loop is about a nonverbal autistic girl trying to get through a canoe ride with another boy she doesn't know. It's a very nice concept and I love the representation it includes, even if it is a bit of a ridiculous plot. Why aren't the adults watching over her in case there's a problem, which there ends up being? Why did they pair her with a kid who doesn't know how to communicate with her? Honestly though, I don't really mind these issues as much as, well, the animation. Yeah, I'm sorry, the animation is very not good in this. The movements are very choppy, the faces look stilted. I guess there wasn't that much of a budget for these Spark shorts, but like, the CGI in the other ones look fine. I don't know, man. It is a nice and sweet short, but I really wish the animation was more appealing. It doesn't even have the tin toy excuse of being old as balls.
The floor is lava.
You know, I really enjoyed Lava when I first saw it, and I still kinda do, but watching all these shorts back to back, most of the non-IP ones are great examples of wordless storytelling, trusting you to follow along and enjoy the story without it needing to be spelled out for you. Lava sings everything right in your face. And while it does make for an experience that's decently nice and pleasant, it can also come across as a bit corny and dumb sometimes. It really is such a mixed bag. I got a little misty-eyed watching the volcano sink to the ocean floor before he could greet the lady volcano. But then I groaned when they sang, "I lava you" at the end. I don't know, this one's sweet and I really want to love it, but I gotta be honest, it's just kind of okay.
I fed up with this world.
22 vs. Earth is a cute little soul short focused on the admittedly weaker part of the movie in the soul realm. I like Joe and the real world bits better, sue me. With that said, that Pixar popcorn short was still really bad, oh my god. Anyway though, it's still pretty fun seeing 22 try and corrupt aspiring souls, only for them to accidentally find their calling. I love when she has a tender moment with the last one, who then gets their cutie mark and she just immediately chucks them into the portal. It's got some funny moments, but it's a bit too slight to rank any higher. Alright, let's take our designated halfway through the video break, cause it's time for another obscure animated recommendation. This time it's a short, because that's the theme of the video. Exit is a 20-minute Swedish short about a nightmarish experience a man has at a theme park. I won't say too much more, it's really best to see all the crazy oddities yourself. But it's so wonderfully creative and yet highly uncomfortable at the same time. It's not a horror short, but it just puts you on edge from start to finish. Really cool watch that is available for free on YouTube in 2 parts. Though I feel like the main guy is kind of a square, and he should just go along with his friends and enjoy the space that this amusement park takes up. Hey, did you know Squarespace is the sponsor of this video? Squarespace is a wonderful online website builder that enables you to create beautiful websites for your business or personal hobby. I adore how easy they make it to showcase your expertise and engage clients with video content on your website. You can make stunning video libraries and even monetize your content by adding a paywall. Perfect for online courses, exclusive tutorials, and premium workshops. If you want to get discovered fast, that's where integrated Squarespace SEO tools come in. Every website is optimized to be indexed with meta descriptions, an auto-generated sitemap, and more, letting you pop up more often on search engines and attract way more customers. Squarespace also offers lots of built-in donation tools. You can create a professional, on-brand website that makes it easy to accept one-time or recurring contributions, and engage your supporters. Use built-in email campaigns and marketing tools to connect with your community and inspire more people to support your cause. Check out squarespace.com/ShaeFrillis for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use promo code ShaeFrillis to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
My superhero movie.
You know, I never actually watched Sanjay's Super Team before making this video. I just never saw the movie it was attached to in theaters, nor did I get the Blu-ray. Well, what Pixar movie was so uninteresting that I didn't bother checking it out or owning a physical copy? Yeah, I'm sure you get it. It's It's a shame though, because this short is pretty good. It's nice seeing a little autobiographical short about an Indian boy reimagining Hindu gods as superheroes. The cell shading in the second half is really cool looking, and the connection he has with his dad is pretty sweet. The credits especially are very lovely, just an all-around endearing short. Not one of the best, but still very good.
Sure are a lot of stars out tonight.
Whoa, you're telling me the guy who made La Luna would eventually go on to make Luca? Man, I never would have guessed. It's not like the dad in this looks pretty much identical to the dad in Luca, just with an extra arm. Nah, but La Luna is pretty cute. Part of me feels like it's trying a little too hard to be beautiful and breathtaking, without those elements really feeling natural. But I do still think it's pretty good. I like the Italian gibberish bickering between the dad and the grandpa. I think the music is pretty lovely. The concept is decently interesting. It's not an all-time favorite of mine, but it's a perfectly pleasant and likable watch. A lot better than the movie it was attached to, Brave. Oh, brother.
Stop the brake! Stop!
Mater and the Ghostlight is a riveting horror film about a truck haunted by his trauma as a mysterious blue glow prepares to envelop him in darkness forever. It's pretty good actually. The pranks Mater pulls are decently fun, and I like seeing him get his comeuppance. I like how quickly everyone abandons him after telling him the Ghostlight story, and how much he tries to avoid making creaking metal sounds. It's a perfectly cute, fun little short. See? I can handle Mater as the protagonist of something that isn't completely fucking dumb and feature length. Burrow is a cute, if a bit slight short about the importance of building community with your neighbors and asking for help. It's sweet to see all that play out, and the short has a very cozy, fantastic Mr. Fox-esque vibe. I don't think it's like Oscar nomination worthy compared to some of these other Spark shorts, but it's very likable, and I'm sure a lot of people will enjoy it. Ciao Alberto is the last short Pixar ever made based on one of their new movies. That's such a shame that they stopped before Turning Red, because that would have been the perfect opportunity to finally address 9/11. Oh well, this is a pretty good short. A little on the simple side story-wise, like, oh, Alberto's a fuck-up in various ways, and he needs to bond with Mustache Guy, who tells him it's okay to screw up every now and then. It's a pretty obvious story you've seen before, but that doesn't stop me from getting a little emotional when Alberto says, "Just let me go, Dad." It's just nice and cozy. I don't think I can hate anything Luca related. Nothing amazing, but pretty good.
Building a rocket.
Wind is a nice little story about trying to get out of a chasm and loving your grandma. Aww, I can relate to this. It's not all that interesting visually, and the ending is pretty easy to see coming, but it's still sweet regardless. And it apparently ties into the director's parents immigrating to America during the Korean War, but having to leave the grandmother behind temporarily. It's a solid and bittersweet metaphor for that. Overall, this one's pretty good.
Dance with me, Lampy!
How many of you youngins are aware that the iconic Pixar logo with the lamp that crushes the letter I is a reference to the first official short film they put out as a company? Luxo Jr. is about a lamp baby playing with a ball and then flattening it. But then he gets a bigger ball. I love them balls. Much like Andre and Wally B, it's just 2 minutes. But I think it honestly holds up a lot better as a short film instead of just feeling like a tech demo. Focusing on inanimate objects with no faces means the animation has actually aged quite nicely, and the lamps are weirdly very expressive through just their body language. The music is lovely too. It's not much, but I think it's a pretty good short for what it is.
Let's party.
Party Central is a pretty fun Monsters University short that apparently aired in theaters before Muppets Most Wanted. God, way to make me feel even worse for not seeing that movie in theaters. I'm sorry I failed you, Constantine. What can I ever do to make it up to you? The short is pretty zany, having Mike, Sully, and the other ones use a pair of doors to transport people from one party to the other. The ways they do it are creative. I like when the monster mom gets involved. It's just overall a pretty good time. It's no Mike's new car, obviously, but it's at least probably better overall than Monsters University itself.
Gay people, gay people, gay people, gay people.
They did it! Someone at Pixar actually got to make a gay short and they put it on Disney Plus. Wow! It's about the main character turning into a dog. Okay. I really liked Out at the beginning, and some of the dog slapstick is kind of fun, but also, I feel like this one just kind of loses the plot a bit. You could just have him not turn into a dog and have him try and hide the photo of him and his boyfriend while giving him dialogue. It's still got fairly sweet moments, and the art style is lovely, but I definitely would have loved it a lot more if it didn't go in this somewhat odd direction.
all ladies should be able to converse wrestling.
It's me, Austin! Oh, son of a...
Nona is a nice little spark short about a grandmother who just wants to enjoy some pro wrestling, damn it. Why has this stupid little kid gotta get in the way? Nah, it is really sweet though how they establish why pro wrestling matters so much to her. And the way the two of them bond at the end after they can't watch it on the TV anymore made me very happy. The animation is a little bit undetailed, but it looks a hell of a lot better than Loop did in motion. Overall, this one's pretty good. One Man Band is an epic tale of man's hubris in the face of competition for the scarce resources available to the artisans that make up the lower class. Basically, a guy wants a coin, but then the other guy wants a coin, so they have a band off, but then the little girl drops the coin, so she gets a small violin and gets a lot of coins, and doesn't give the guys coins because they need to learn a lesson. It's cute! The music was done by Michael Giacchino, so you know it's awesome sounding. And the way these guys try and one-up each other with increasingly elaborate tricks are pretty fun as well. There are some gaps in logic in the second half, like how does this girl's average violin playing result in someone leaving a giant bag of coins for her, while these guys with their flashy setups didn't earn anything and are fighting over one coin. Ah well, it's still a pretty fun time. I'm not gonna say it was better than the movie it was attached to, Cars. I'm also not saying it. Riley's first date is a really cute addition to Inside Out. We get to see the hot dad acting overprotective as we get a further glimpse into how his mind works. Also, he was in a band and he loves AC/DC. This is important lore. I also enjoyed the mom talking in outdated slang. It's a fun concept, though I feel like maybe it could have been another minute longer with like one more plot development. It feels a little short even by short standards. I mean, Disney Plus will tell you it's 10 minutes, but over half of that time is just dedicated to the credits for the Danks version and the Deutsche Fassung version. Just play a different version of the credits if you switch it to a different language. How hard is that?
Don't Bernie me!
Oh, Bernie. You poor sweet soul, constantly getting your job interrupted by Wally's chicanery. When will he ever catch a break? Bernie's a pretty fun short that slots pretty nicely into the Wally canon. It's kind of like a lower scale Lion King 1.5. Just a cute little story behind the story. Nothing essential, like a certain short that rhymes with Blackjack a back, but it's very cute and likable. I especially love the way the supply robot gets fed up with his shit and then just drops the final spire on the ground. Really fun stuff. Float is a lovely little story about raising a child who's just a bit different and being okay with that no matter what other people think. The metaphor is pretty obvious, but it's still really nice and emotional watching the dad finally being okay with letting his son float. Apparently it was inspired by the creator's experience raising an autistic son, and you can really feel the love he has for his kid despite the occasional difficulty. The animation here also looks a lot better than the other CGI Spark shorts. I don't know if this one had a higher budget or more time or what, but it's almost up to the standards of a modern Pixar feature film. Very great stuff.
Those are some angry birds.
For the Birds is such a fun one. I love this big blue goofball bird and its silly little voice as it remains unbothered by all these dumb bitches surrounding it. Seriously, these tiny birds are the worst, but it's nice to see them get hoisted by their own petard in spectacular fashion. There's not a whole lot to say about this one. It's just a very fun and goofy little short with cute visuals and even cuter bird noises. I dig it. Okay, now is as good a time as any to complain about how much I hate the titles for the Spark shorts. It's more of that one-word bullshit that plagues Disney and Pixar features, like float, wind, loop, out, burrow. That noise. These lovely shorts deserve way more interesting titles instead of just having to follow the Frozen and Tangled template. Case in point, Self. This is a lovely stop-motion short where a black puppet feels the need to change everything about themselves in order to conform with the shiny gold society around them. A pretty obvious metaphor, but it's still well done and striking visually, especially that part where she leaps off the building to catch the mask. The ending seems a little abrupt and too easy, but it's still a solid emotional conclusion. Overall, I love this one, and I wish Pixar would experiment with stop motion more. I also wish it wasn't called Self. Oh my god, give it a real title.
paddywhack.
Knick-Knack is an interesting one because I'm sure most of us remember seeing it on the Finding Nemo DVD and associating it with that film. But it's actually 6 years older than Toy Story, holding up well enough to get repurposed and packaged with a film that came out 14 years later. Honestly, yeah, I didn't even question that as a kid. Knick-Knack absolutely holds up just as well as the Pixar shorts being made in the 2000s. In fact, it's probably the first truly great Pixar short. The comedic absurdity of the snowman producing all these hilarious, elaborate means of getting out of a snow globe so he can get some pussy is a delight. The TNT, the blowtorch, the hammer that probably would have worked if he didn't feel the need to use his nose as a nail. It's all a blast, with the pacing being super quick and assuring that there's never a dull moment. And that ending with the snow globe lackadaisically falling on him before he could get to the mermaid cracks me up every time. The music is also super catchy and fits very well. I really like this one. It's a certified classic.
Louie.
Lou is yet another short I haven't seen till now because, yeah, I was not buying Cars 3 on Blu-ray or seeing it in theaters. Again, another shame because this one is really fun and touching. A bully who steals the other kid's shit gets his socks rocked by Lou, a monster comprised of lost and found items. There's a fun chase scene and an emotionally resonant ending that really left me touched. Just the state of Lou at the end is so oddly emotional. They absolutely packed a great setup and payoff into just 6 minutes with this one. I think it's pretty great. You should definitely check out both this and Sanjay Super Team since, statistically speaking, you probably did not see either of them in a movie theater.
Under my umbrella!
Pixar really said, what if umbrellas had feelings? I remember the blue umbrella was the first time I was ever really impressed with photorealistic animation, before Pixar drove that style into the ground and turned it completely unimpressive in the decade to come. Here, though, it really enhances the story they're trying to tell of an umbrella boy trying to find an umbrella girl, despite all the perils of the real world being in his way. It's beautiful to see all these other anthropomorphic parts of the street helping him survive, and the music is especially lovely here as well. It's a nice cozy watch with animation that still looks incredible even after 12 years. Still to this day, one of the best uses of photorealistic animation the studio would ever accomplish.
Very obviously just 3 kids stacked on top of each other under a trench coat.
20-something is a really sweet and creative short about a 20-something who sees herself as 3 kid versions of her in a trench coat. That's such a genius metaphor to convey a pretty universal experience of not really getting the hang of being an adult. Some days you really do feel like this and it's hard to keep yourself together. It's funny, it's got a great art style, it got me a little bit close to tears towards the end. I feel like there was probably more to flesh out here, but this is still a great and lovely short that you should definitely check out. It doesn't feel like it's holding anything back like Pearl is either. It's a great way to give kids a glimpse of adult life and for young adults to get a little catharsis. Really sweet stuff.
I'm 25 and I drive a car.
Mike's new car is certified comedy gold, baby. This short seriously cracked me the hell up as a kid. And it also happens to be the only Pixar short based on one of their pre-existing IPs to be nominated for the Oscar for animated short film. I don't really know why, but I'm not complaining. The concept of being overwhelmed by a new car with all sorts of ridiculous doohickeys has honestly aged really well in the past 20 years. It doesn't feel dated in the slightest. And the slapstick with Mike is top notch. I love when he gets trapped in the hood and then he just calls Sully on the phone to get him to push the button. That just kills me. Ultimately, it's a blast seeing Mike punished for his hubris of wanting this abomination of a car. There isn't really a whole lot to this short. It's just 3.5 minutes of goofy slapstick, but it's still a blast, even as an adult. Day and Night is a wonderfully creative short that meshes these 2D characters representing the titular times of the day with 3D environments that change depending on whether day or night is hanging over them. The way each action they take and each sound effect that comes out of them is conveyed with something in the real world. Oh my god, it's absolute genius. The only real issue I have is that yeah, these guys are a little bit creepy and horny towards sunbathing women. Like, it's fine in Knick-Knack when the women actively want the snowman to come over, but I don't know, man. I don't need to see the night being wolf whistle and shit. Overall, though, this is kind of genius. A real marvel of animation filled to the brim with creativity.
Dogs and cats living together.
Kit Bull got me a little misty-eyed, not gonna lie. This is a beautifully animated and lovely story about an unlikely friendship between a kitten and an abused pit bull, showing their wonderful bond unfolding, while also giving itself time to linger on somber moments. It makes great use of the short format, utilizing its 8 minutes incredibly well, and fitting a wonderful wordless story arc in. It also expresses so nicely how everyone is worthy of love no matter what. Oh man, this is a lovely one. Definitely check it out. Man, for some reason people seem to hate Boundin'. Couldn't be me, dog. This has always been one of my favorite Pixar shorts. Just this incredibly sweet, rhyming fable with a nice rhythm to it, and a lot of sage wisdom and flair added from Bud Lucky's narration. Weirdly, I think it pairs very nicely with The Incredibles, and not just because Bud Lucky also has a voice role in that movie. It's like the complete opposite end of the spectrum from The Incredibles. A nice little burst of childlike whimsy to contrast the most grown-up Pixar film to date. I really like the way it's written, I love the Jackalope character, the animation is endearing. I know the original Pixar shorts not based on pre-existing IP are usually free of dialogue, so this might be a bit of a sharp contrast to the rest of them. But I think it keeps the beautiful simplicity that embodies those other shorts intact, while also adding a Dr. Seuss-like charm of its own. Sorry, but I kinda love this one.
Stripper magician.
You really gotta admire Pixar for asking, what if we straight up just did Looney Tunes? Presto is a really fun and energetic slapstick short about a hungry bunny tormenting his magician master for not giving him a carrot. They make use of some cool, actually magic hats, with one of them being a neat Sorcerer's Apprentice nod, and they just stretch this concept of a hat portal out to its limit. At least within the confines of a 5-minute short. So much creative comedic ground covered, there are so many great bits. This one's a definite winner. The part with the ladder especially just rules. Awesome stuff.
Jack, hey, Jack.
Jack Jack Attack is what I like to call a quintessential piece of The Incredibles canon. It slots into the film so nicely to the point where, as a kid, I would often forget that the events depicted in it weren't actually a part of the film itself. It's an unbelievably hilarious short where we get to see Kari frantically try her best to keep up with this baby's shit. Her voice actress is really great in this. I distinctly remembered so many of the awesome inflections in the lines she screams. The bit where Jack Jack bursts into flames also just kills me. It's such a fun time. I think the best part is when Syndrome shows up and just talks so normally. Like, I don't know why. It's just hilarious to see this unhinged nutjob hold a normal conversation with someone. Also, the format of this short is so good that Incredibles 2 just stole it almost verbatim for their opening scene. I can't think of any other Pixar short with that level of impact on its series. Yeah, I absolutely love this one. It's unbelievably fun and a perfect complement to its movie. More so than any of these other movie tie-in shorts.
The Black Death! Black Death!
Oh man, I can't count how many times me and my brother rewatched Your Friend the Rat as kids. This short is extremely up my alley comedy-wise. It's just got so much absurdity and mixed media goodness. It's really bursting at the seams with creativity in terms of the art styles and the way they present all these legitimately interesting facts about rats. The part where P.T. Flea shows up just kills me. As do the two rats in colonial America slapping each other, the Alberta-Canada government rat control program being a video game, the silent film bit where the rat keeps saying ouch. It's just so fun. The amount of silly and cool bits they pack into this thing, all as we enjoy the great chemistry between Remy and Emile, ending off with them getting mad at the disclaimer Disney and Pixar put at the end. It's just comedy gold, dude. This is an all-time favorite of mine, and I wish more of the Pixar shorts put in this level of creativity and effort. Not that the other ones aren't very fun and cute, but dude, did you see all the art styles in this one?
Are you kidding me?
Don't shout.
What kind of show is this?
Hey.
Okay, this might be a bit of a hot take, but I personally think the commentary version of Mr. Incredible and Pals is the single funniest thing Pixar has ever put out. If you've never seen this, oh man, have you been missing out. So, there's a short on the Incredibles DVD that's meant to be an old, cheaply made Saturday morning cartoon that exists within the Incredibles universe. It's a charming enough parody of these kind of shows on its own. But for the purposes of this list, I'm only going to be ranking the commentary version that Craig T. Nelson and Samuel L. Jackson did in character as Mr. Incredible and Frozone. Because this is where it's at. It cracks me up to this day hearing Frozone complain that they made him white, or how they have to fight some made-up villain named Lady Lightbug. And don't even get him started on the rabbit.
Did you okay the rabbit?
I had nothing to do with the rabbit. I don't know where they got the rabbit.
Well, somebody okayed the rabbit.
I seriously can't even do this justice with words. It's absolutely hysterical from start to finish. Samuel L. Jackson is going off the rails here with his delivery, and you can hear Craig T. Nelson laughing as he delivers his lines a few times. Honestly, I kind of assumed this was improvised because it just feels so natural. But nope, this was all Brad Bird writing this commentary track. God, I miss when he made good shit. Please check this out. Someone uploaded it to YouTube, so you have no excuse.
The black superhero gets caught.
Well, a minute ago you were complaining they made you white.
Oh, that's right. The tan superhero gets caught.
I'm kicking my own butt.
Gary's game is absolute peak. Okay? It's arguably, no, actually, it's inarguably better than the movie it's associated with, A Bug's Life. Watching this kooky old man play chess with himself is such a delight, especially when the editing gets so tight and the personalities on either side of the board get so distinct that you actually start to believe there's two people there instead of just one. What's he even doing? Why is he playing chess with himself? I don't know, but it's a real testament to the ingenuity of the human spirit that he can have this epic showdown with himself and come out of it incredibly satisfied and happy. Honestly, everything about this short just works. It's a hilarious concept that's executed flawlessly. I could rewatch it 1,000,000 times and never get tired of it. It's just an ingenious use of the short film format and one of my personal favorite short films ever. Ever since I first saw it in theaters before the far inferior feature film Incredibles 2, I knew Bao was something really special. It's such a unique visual metaphor, not just because it's a distinct cultural perspective, but also just the idea of a little piece of food being a stand-in for your own child. It's a really creative way of getting these emotions across. Before you even know what's really going on, it's an unbelievably heartwarming short. So lived in, so warm and inviting and well developed. It's got plenty of funny moments, and it broke my heart when the little Bao child started growing apart from his mother. I feel like the real make or break element of this short is when she eats him. I don't know, that really worked for me. It was shocking and uniquely fucked up, but it's also a pretty devastating moment that leads to a lot of regret. And that ending gets me every time. Yeah, I even cried on this rewatch. This is the only short out of all 60 to do that to me. I think that alone makes it deserve the top spot. Well, that, plus it's funny, visually appealing, well-paced, lovingly crafted, and it represents the absolutely wonderful ingenuity and power of Pixar at their very best. Congrats to Bao for being my favorite of the Pixar shorts. Well, that was surprisingly fun. Obviously, if you've been watching my recent vids, you probably know that I'm not really into mainstream animated stuff anymore, but I honestly had a great time with these shorts, because it feels like Pixar really gives their artists opportunities to let loose with them and tell more personal or creative stories. They don't feel as commercially mandated as a lot of their features do, even the shorts that tie into the features themselves. I think this studio and its wonderful roster of artists has a real knack for short filmmaking. I really hope they continue the Spark Short series and let even more artists get a chance to tell these wonderful personal stories. And I hope they bring back the movie tie-in shorts. I mean, it's a crime we didn't get an Elemental tie-in short all about Claude. Can you imagine how hard that would have gone? I mean, it's Claude. Anyways, I should be getting back to Hell now. Hell being the remaining Adam Sandler movies I still have to watch. Oh joy. Good night, Tri-State area.